of there was something I was sort of confused about with the preparation assignment. Um, so question 2, when they said, what are the differences in the hypothesis tests uh, between a one sample T and match pairs T? And their answer was literally just the words open-ended.
Yeah,
I was
I was,
confused about that too.
yeah.
So, okay, so not
I
just me then,
think
that's good to know.
I'm thinking because with the applet, right? You choose the outer parts. So I was thinking that's what they meant because it's like with the other T test that we did last week, we selected just the intersection, right? On the applet.
I don't remember.
Is it, I think that's what.
Yeah, I think like I remember what you're talking about because you're talking about I don't know how they phrase it, but you get the tails of the applet, but for this one, you would only do like one of it because it must have been like greater than or less
Oh my
than.
God,
I'm not
there's a bird on my window. Sorry. Sorry, that scared
you're
me.
fine.
But yeah.
So, but I wouldn't have come to that conclusion if I didn't see the answer key. I would have been
Because
like, what are they talking about?
they're like basically the same.
Yeah.
Pretty much, except for like the calculations before the match pairs.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that, you're basically running through the same motions. Probably why the reading was so easy this week, because we're already sort of familiar with how to do these kind of tests.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was there a reason why you either do the confidence interval or the hypothesis test? Like, is it just how it's written or phrased that you know which one to do? Or like that's what I was like confused about because I was like, it just gave me examples for both and not when to use both. So I was assuming we would already know or it would tell you what's the confidence interval or write a hypothesis or whatever. So I don't know. I was just a little bit confused when you do what with like the dependent data.
Actually, further down in the preparation assignment, under, let me see, this is question 6, all the way down at point I. They had the keyword here, 95th percent level. So even though they didn't specify confidence interval in the question, because I saw that level, that was sort of my tip, I guess, for what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because it already gone through the hypothesis test up here, and that was basically the only thing left. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah. Because I think like yeah, I think a lot of it is just, looking for key words or phrases within the problem. But I just didn't know if there was a difference. So it looks like this week is dependent data and then next week is like independent data or something. So I just didn't realize if it was different.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't
I
looked at it at
think
all.
because the dependent data, it's when you have like the pre-test and the post-test, like it's the same sample, just at different periods,
Mm.
right?
Uh, I think same population but different samples.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I think so. Okay. I don't know.
Mm,
Are you guys ready to take the quiz or
yeah,
Yeah, nothing really hard about the practice or the part two or anything.
yeah. My only question was that really weird answer that they gave for number 2. Aside from that, I'm good.
Mhm.
I can go ahead and share here. So we're looking at some 12 group quiz. So let me know when you're ready.
I am ready. Don't know
Yeah.
about anybody else.
Did you say Cassidy?
Oh, I said I'm ready too.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Let's go. Okay. So we're supposed to use this data. About data A and some next 4 questions. So they want paired samples t-test in Excel. So we're also going to need the workbook as well.
Mhm.
Paired samples t-test. So that would be tab 2. Okay, we need to make sure that I guess this has been one thing that was confusing me, is that is the order that we paste them into the sheet. And this one, it specifically wants group 1 minus group 2. I'm assuming that's going to be significant. Instead of like pasting them like 1 here and 2 here, like they were having us do for a lot of the readings.
It's not letting me pull up the data for me.
What I do is I drag it to a new tab so it starts to download. Otherwise, it gives me this notice like, oh, you're about to navigate away.
Oh, it worked. It kept saying, can't open this file in protected view.
It's interesting. Maybe if you go into like the file location and right click it and you go into the properties and root around, you might find a button to uncheck somewhere.
It pulled up. I don't know what changed, but I got it. Thank you though.
Very good. Okay, so this is as they requested, we got group 1 minus group 2. So group 1 minus group 2. What else did they want? Okay. I just keep splitting my screen here. Sorry if that's confusing to follow. So equals to 2 and not, I mean, equals to 0, woof, and not equals to 0. So that would give us a test statistic of 0.407. Is that what you're
Yeah.
getting?
How do you know to put the group 2 in the data 1 spot? Why did you do it that way?
Because this bolded part here that says, be sure
Mhm.
the test that does group 1 minus group 2. If we look under the hood, per se, you can see that this is subtracting A1 minus B2. So 1 minus group 2.
Yeah, I think it just all depends on the way the question is phrased because it can give you the data backwards and will like mess you up. And so some people I don't know. I don't know if they do it to purposefully like mess us up, but it asks for a specific group minus another one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely something to double check though, just because they had us pacing it the opposite way for so much in the reading.
Mhm.
So this has it as all of my data just to compare. So group 1 was 202, 361. So this is group 1 minus group 2.
Okay. Okay. that makes sense.
Did anybody else get the question wrong on the last quiz for the p-value? It was like one of the very last questions for like a homework quiz. And it's like, what's the p-value? And I got 0 as my p-value, so I put 0 and I got it wrong twice.
I don't know if we're allowed to talk about those ones, but
Because I was just confused because I got everything correct for like test statistic and the degrees of freedom. But when I went to the p-value, I didn't know if I just didn't plug something in, but everything else was right. So I don't know. Probably
we
a
could
question for the professor.
message. Yeah, I was gonna say message the professor and just be like, "Hey, what's up with this problem?"
Yeah.
So
And I know that there was a few times that I had to expand how many decimals was showing to get
Mm.
results, so maybe it was that, but I don't know.
Maybe it was like a 0.001.
Maybe something like that. I honestly don't remember what I got for that homework assignment, but
but for this question, 0.407, right?
yeah.
And p-value is right next to that.
Oh, Adrian joined.
What's that?
Adrian was able to join.
Oh, hello, Adrian. Adrian, we just started the group quiz.
You're all good.
So we're basically just plugging everything into the toolbox. And so for number 1, we got 0.407. And then for number 2, we got 0.689.
You can see my screen, right, Adrian?
So then the level of significance, it's 0.10, so we'd fail to reject.
Is it 0.10 or 0.01?
It says 0.10.
1.
Oh, I missed that. Oof. Okay, thank you for catching that. I was assuming that it was a normal one.
I mean,
The
either
p-value.
way,
So the p-value is more than. Okay, yes. I really need to memorize those because I always end up second guessing it myself. So suppose the alternative hypothesis is this instead. What is the correct decision based on this evidence?
So
Did
it's,
I have- Okay,
I
I did have
think,
them.
it's we have insufficient evidence that it's different than 0. Or
yeah.
is equal.
Oh, sorry. Because the p-value is still bigger than the level of significance.
It dropped in half, but yeah, it's
Still above 0.1.
say again?
It's still above 0.1. So we still have insufficient evidence. right?
Would it be,
That it's different, that it's greater.
So if we fail to reject the null, then we believe the null is right. So
Mhm.
it means insufficient is the alternative, and that's wrong.
Adrian says that is right.
Because I think what you would say we have insufficient evidence and then just look at the alternative hypothesis and look how it's written for anything equal to 0. Or not equal to 0, sorry.
So
I don't know. Now I'm confused.
I think I'm
so
getting
which
very
one would
tired.
it be?
I'm sorry, I'm getting very,
You
very
said
tired. I'm doing statistics stuff all day long. Let's see. So the p-value is less than level of significance, we reject the null hypothesis, which means that the null was not the correct choice. But this one was,
Well, I thought it meant the null is the right choice.
No, if the p-value is bigger than the level of significance, we failed to reject, which means we have insufficient evidence to prove otherwise. Because if the p is low, we reject the null. So we have insufficient evidence that the mean of the differences is greater than 0.
this is great. This
Oh, I'm sorry. I was not looking at. I thought I was talking about number 1.
Oh,
Yeah, I thought I was talking about the equal sign, not the
Oh.
greater than.
okay.
okay, so it is the second.
Sorry
one.
for confusing you.
No,
Looking
you're
at my
okay.
notes here, I've got an example where the p-value was less than the level of significance, which was rejected, and this would be the opposite situation. So insufficient evidence, and then greater than 0 and greater than 0. Yeah. Adrian says p-value is greater than level of significance, so there's insufficient evidence. I think this is it. I can tag this if you want, and we can come back to it at the end. I'm gonna move over to question 5. Next 10 questions. So we need to do a paired sample t-test. And once again, group 1 minus group 2. This time, our null hypothesis, or rather our alternative hypothesis, is not equal to the level of significance is 0.05. Oh, here's an interesting question. Which is greater, N or DF? So DF is 21, N is 22, N is greater.
Easy.
If only all questions were like that.
Mm-hmm.
They want p-value. I am just so spoiled by these Excel sheets because we could basically just plug it in and it does all the math for us.
This
Yeah.
one is-
I think our teacher is purposely making us learn it by hand first and then figuring out that there's an easier way.
Yeah, one of the reasons I think is because then we understand the logic behind it a little better when we do it ourselves. Okay, so p-value slightly.
So the
Let's see.
p-value is higher, bigger.
Yeah, only slightly, but yes, bigger. So because it's greater than, I think we failed to reject.
Mhm. It would be smaller, wouldn't it? Because it would cut it in half.
Yeah, because that would be a one-tailed test.
Oh, yeah.
Check that out. It's almost perfectly in half.
And then you'd reject this one.
So based on response from the previous question, so rejecting the null, what conclusion do we make?
We have sufficient evidence that there is a mean difference between the two groups. So C.
And then now if I'm going too fast as well, because we did kind of just zip through those three.
Yeah.
So the p-value depends on the alternative hypothesis. In general, which alternative hypothesis will give the smallest p-value? I think it depends on the problem, right? Because
Mhm.
these two would give, I would say, approximately the same p-values. Like if we use this as an example, oh, wait a minute. So not perfectly in half. So equals to 0.05, or rather not equals 2.
That's the smallest one.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, last one. Determine the 95th percent confidence interval for the mean difference in the two groups. Put your answers below. Okay, so we're down here now.
So point estimate, 2.664.
Which hypothesis were we using? I mean, this box.
Oh, yeah. I think is it not equals?
That's confusing. Because would we use the hypothesis from question 8? Or
I
the
think
original
it's,
one from question 5?
Actually, I'm not sure the hypothesis makes a difference with the confidence interval. Having asked that. Because as
I'm not
changing it-
sure, but it is equal than, or not equal.
Mhm. In
Why
that
is it
case,
asking for the symbol?
well, as I'm changing it, the point estimate, which is what they're asking for, is not changing. So I don't know if it actually matters for solving this. Yeah, having asked that, so.
And then the lower bound, negative.
0.0 negative, I'm sorry, is negative 0.046.
Yeah.
And then upper so just this full screen again, so I'm not looking at the other numbers as well. So we've set a pair data, D equals X after minus X before. Null hypothesis is this, outlier hypothesis is this, population standard deviation is not known. One collects the sample size N, it's sample D and standard deviation of D. What is the test statistic? Okay, so we need to put this into a formula.
So it's T equals D over S divided by square root of N. So I got 2.
What's the population mean?
Is that
The
that what the
population mean.
is?
Oh, sorry.
So they said that there's 2 ways to write this formula. The way that we're used to is like the T equals X minus funky U over S divided by square root of N. But they also said you might see it as T equals D over S divided by square root of N. So
Can
the
you
D,
show?
yeah, the D is the mean of the differences.
Yeah, I'm getting 2.
Can you show me that formula just so I can write it down?
Let's see. I don't know how to, but I can.
You see it on the calculator?
Yeah, with the letters. I've got a list of formulas that I'm writing down.
So I basically typed it in the chat because I don't know how to send it over, except for there's a square root over the N. I couldn't add that on my computer.
Sure thing. So D over S times the square root of N
Oh, it's divided.
divided
Whoops.
by.
Wow, that makes this equation like completely wrong. Yeah, so I guess like the D,
I think that's right.
yeah, the D is just the mean of the differences. So essentially it's just the X minus the fancy U.
So it's the sample mean on top divided by the sample standard deviation divided by the square root of the sample size.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm getting 2 for question 15 as well.
Again? Can you repeat that?
Number 15, I got 2.
So it should look like 2.2 divided by 3.3 divided by the square root of 9.
Yeah. 2 as well. Took me a second there, but I caught up. The probability of obtaining test statistic greater than Jordan's test statistic is 0.0403. Uses probability to determine a p-value for Jordan's hypothesis test.
So we'd put this into the students T probability applet, right?
I think so.
Because I'm getting an area, or is the hypothesis just not equal to, so it's both sides. Yeah, so I'm getting 0.1393.
What was,
So
How do
it's
we
looking for a
determine-
test statistic greater than 0.0430.
Okay.
they also don't list
Oh,
degrees
wait,
of
so
freedom.
so we use the data from from question 15, I think.
I see where the test statistics should go, but we don't have degrees of freedom. I don't know if that matters. And also, I was under the impression that they wanted us to use this as our starting point, but that would go into the box where we would get the p-value.
Does this have to do anything with like the 1 minus 0.0403?
One minus
Because
what?
so they're giving us the probability of obtaining a test statistic greater than is 0.043 or whatever. And then so they're asking us the probability to determine the p-value for Jordan's hypothesis test. So really, is the 0.0403 supposed to help us? I mean, I'm sure it's in there to help us, but so we're just looking for his p-value.
Maybe this is our starting point and then we highlight. But I'm confused because they don't give us the degrees of freedom that we would need for this.
No idea.
Adrian, do you have any idea? It's a weird problem.
Mm-hmm.
It says I'm not sure.
I feel like deep down in my notes, I might have something that says something about the p-value. Would that be the same as the question above?
There is a relation here because they say right here to use the following information for both of these.
Because in my notes from like a few units ago or lessons ago, so the z-score is essentially the p-value, correct?
Well,
Mm,
the z-score would be okay, new tab because of the zoom controls in the way. There we go. In the regular applet, so z-score goes here, and then the p-value would be in the area box.
Yeah, the area is the p-value. It's also the level of significance, or what you compare to the level of significance.
Because for some reason I wrote in my notes z equals x minus funky u over standard deviation divided by square root of n, but then on the other end of the solved about equation, I wrote p-value.
Adrian says perhaps we must use the value 0.04 in the probability tool's normal probability applet. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think they're asking for a z-score.
So I'm wondering, when it asks for us to solve for the p-value, is it asking us to solve in the same way we would solve a z-score? Because if we did, that would be the exact same way we solved question 15.
It could be a trick question, yeah. Because didn't they have one of those on the not last episode, the last
Oh,
quiz?
yes. Yeah, like a review of the previous topics, and we're just overthinking it, and they just want us to use the applet like normal. I don't know if I did that right. But is this sort of the direction we're heading with that train of thought? Just thinking maybe it goes in here.
I want to say yes.
We can also come back to this, have somebody else submit it.
Some of these, I wish they were like multiple choice. Give us
Agreed.
options. Because
Same.
if we get it wrong, I would at least like to know how to get it right.
Yeah, or like the ballpark of,
Yeah.
like with multiple choice questions, you can use the process of elimination for at least a couple most of the time.
Yeah, you know what? The more I look at this, the more I'm thinking maybe this is a review. Of the older stuff. Probability of obtaining this is greater than this. Or is this? And use that probability to determine the p-value. Let me look back at my old notes about probabilities and what to do when I see that. Might take me a minute.
The degrees of freedom, it's n minus 1.
Yeah.
To find the degrees of freedom, it's n minus 1. So this will be 8. So we can just put 8 into the degrees of freedom,
That's right.
and it would be greater than 2.
Okay, hang on. Let me do this part, I think. What should I put in for the t-scores?
2, because that's what the t-score we got when we,
Okay.
because the t-score is the test statistic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. With 8 degrees of freedom, it gives us this number.
What?
T with the greater than this area selected, T set to 2, 8 degrees of freedom gives the same number as in the question.
Should we just put that in and then try it and see if I don't know what else to do.
P-value is the number that we would get from this thing. Like, I
Mhm.
don't know what else it would be. Because even if we weren't using the toolbox to get these numbers, like if we took our test statistic and our degrees of freedom for the other problems and plugged them into this, it would give us the p-value the way that this does.
Mhm.
So I can't figure out any other method to, I guess, figure this out.
Yeah, I say let's just go.
I'm also extremely tired, so that's probably not helping me right now. They want it rounded to 3 decimal places. So technically that would just be 0.04 because the other 0 gets clipped off by the computer.
Should we
Which
just
that is a red flag to me though, that it's not actually 3 decimals in the answer, but I don't really know what else to say here.
I am kind of confused.
Yeah, let's look over. There was another one we flagged, then we'll come back to 16. So looks like everything else is pretty solid. But this one, alternate hypothesis, we kind of figured out with this one, didn't we?
I think we figured out that it was just a miscommunication.
Yeah. I thought I was talking about a different problem.
All right, I'm gonna see how we did. And then more times we can see somebody else's.
Yes.
I don't know what to do with this question. I really don't. Okay, 13 out of 15. I wonder which ones we got wrong. Oh,
Really, 11?
interesting. Okay. Oh yeah, and 16 is wrong. Let me look at 11 real quick here.
Maybe
Would
it's
it?
not enough information. Because we did only look at one
Yeah, we only looked at one problem.
one data set. So it could be different depending on the data set.
Did I click the right? Yeah, I clicked the right symbol. That is very weird. I feel like this would usually give the smallest p-value because, like, if you look at the number line as it moves down here, it just gets smaller and smaller. But maybe we just don't have enough information. Does someone want to try that one next time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll submit it next.
Do you want to try to change question 16 first?
Yeah,
yeah.
let's get down to that one. So it was not this number. You know what? I'm gonna just refill my water here. I'll be right back.
Okay.
You know, I know, and it's like husbands, for instance, if they were over the top. But not. I don't know what to do about this one. I really don't. Are there any problems like it in the textbook?
I'm looking through the textbook right now. This data, question 15 doesn't have a data set, right? No.
That would make it easier,
Yeah.
but no, I don't think it does.
Do we have a level of significance on this question?
I don't think so. We might be able to. No, I don't think we can calculate that.
Because the only thing I'm seeing in the text about solving for a p-value is it says it just says to find the p-value and compare it to the level of significance. The p-value is a really teeny really teeny tiny number.
I will be right back. I'm going to grab my computer cord.
Okay.
My computer died. I feel like there's no information about a p-value in this lesson.
Mm-mm.
almost certainly referencing something older than.
So did we plug 0.0403 into the area?
Which applet? Students T?
In like the, I guess like the normal probability.
I mean, I can try, but it's not asking for a z-score. That's really all that it would give us in that situation.
Because my thought is like the probability of obtaining a test score is whatever. Whenever you talk about probability, it's always in like the area.
So I plugged in 0.0403.
Okay.
It wanted
And you,
greater than, right?
yeah.
So this would be the z-score.
Wasn't there something about, oh, which lesson was this? Wasn't there one about multiplying? Oh, no, that was for finding the sample size.
So if that's greater than his, do we just highlight something less than his? Like if you take away the one tail and you add like the middle and the left and look at the area there.
This, well, that would depend on using the z-scores to see.
Dude, sorry.
Yeah.
His hypothesis test is two-tailed. The probability of obtaining a test statistic greater than, so one-tailed. Wouldn't we just multiply that by 2?
Hmm. See. So that would be 0.0806.
And then we'd round it to 3. So round up. So 0.81.
Show me what you're doing. I'm just having a really hard time following along.
Oh, I'm just taking, I'll pull up the whiteboard. You see that? So I'm just taking,
Yes, I could see the whiteboard.
I'm just multiplying it by 2 because the hypothesis is not equal to, and the question 16 is saying greater than. So this is one-tailed, but this one's two-tailed, and this is Jordan's hypothesis test. So because it's two-tailed, I'm multiplying this by 2 and getting 0.0806.
0.0806. Does
Which
someone want to, somebody want to test that?
Yeah, I'll test it. Just to be clear, for question 11, we're doing not enough information.
Yeah. I really don't know what else it would be otherwise because of what I was doing earlier in the workbook.
How do I close? Oh, up there. Yeah, I'll screen share and we can see it. Can you guys see this?
It says that you started screen sharing. Did you share your whole screen or just the page?
Oh, I just shared the page. Okay, sorry. Hello?
Yeah, it's just blink.
Yeah, I don't know, my computer's freezing.
But no, that's not good.
Yeah, it's not letting me click on anything, dang it. Oh, well,
There we go.
can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, I don't know what happened. It was like frozen for a minute. Okay, I'm gonna submit this now.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh no.
Which one was it? Was it 16 again?
What?
Oh, then was it 11 or 12? 12?
12? Wait,
Wait, let me compare it side by side with mine. Okay, you and I have different numbers in 12.
oh, what did you put for 12?
2.864. And that one was correct.
Okay, so 11 and 16 are correct. I just made a mistake on my end. So if you submit it, you should get 100%.
Okay, I need to retype everything in there.
Do you want me to go through?
I've got it all written down. I might ask for clarification.
Okay.
While I do that, unfortunately, we're not done yet for tonight. We have to do the rest of that Book of Mormon project too.
Shoot, how long do you think that's gonna take? Because I have dinner with my parents at 5.
So in half an hour?
Yeah, about.
Okay.
It looked like
Um,
we only had those two little things left.
Why don't you guys just pull it up right now and do as much as you can while I'm entering in my quiz questions? We might be able to get it done in half an hour. And we probably don't we don't have to record that part either, most likely.
Oh, yeah.